Hi and welcome to this Blender video tutorial. This is Carlos. First of all, I'd like to go ahead and apologize for all the background noises you'll be hearing. I already explained that I live in a very busy city. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and continue with our Blender tutorial, in which our little guy here is going to get rigged up so that we can go ahead and animate him, bring him into the Blender game engine and whatnot. Let me go ahead and go back to our little guy here. Now, one thing that I forgot to tell you guys is that on our last video, if you notice, I didn't parent or joint the five actually. One, two, left, right antenna, left and right eye, and my head is five objects. And I didn't went ahead and make it one object. Let me go ahead and undo some of my stuff that I've done here, and maybe you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So if I go ahead and select my head, and I go ahead and grab my head and move it around, you notice that my head moves around, but the eyes and the antennas are nowhere to be found. Alright, now one way that we could do this, as a lot of you may already know, is we can shift click the eyes, the antennas, and finally the head, and then we can go ahead and hit Control J to join and make this one whole mesh or object. Now, that's not what I'm going to be doing today, so instead what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to select the antenna, left, right antenna, and I have to make sure that the eye is the one that gets selected, because I want the head to be the parent, so I need to go ahead and make that selection last. So let me hit Control P, and we're going to parent the head. We're going to make the head the parent of the antennas and the eyes. That way when we move this around, it'll follow. Alright, good stuff here. Alright, let me go to front view by hitting 1, and I'm sorry if that keeps on happening. It's because my mouse, it's dying. Let me move everything, shift A, A, and I'm gonna move everything except my lights and my camera to the first layer. There you go. Okay, there we are. Now, what we want to do here, and let me go ahead and position myself in a better spot here. There we go. Hit 1 to go into front view. I want my mouse, or sorry, my 3D cursor to be somewhere around the middle, so I'm going to hit Shift S, cursor to center. I'm going to Shift A, add aperture, single bone. Now you can't see the bone right now, so in order for you to be able to watch the bone, you can go here to this little guy right here, object data, click it, hit X-ray, and our bone becomes visible. Look at that. Now you can go ahead and scale this one, grab it, S for scale, G to grab, and I'm gonna grab it on the Z-axis so it's correct, like that. And we can go ahead now and grab this guy. Whoops, sorry. Go into edit mode, grab Z-axis, and put it right in between, somewhere in between the head and the body. Okay, and yeah, something like that. Now, what we want to do here is we want to extrude, go straight on the Z-axis, bring it up about the head, and then we're going to create the arms. Now, because we are all learning here, I know that if I hit X-axis mirror and I extrude and hit X to constrain the X-axis, I should be getting another bone here, but I'm not. If you know how to fix that, or if I'm doing something wrong, I am open to suggestions. This is Learn Blender, and that's Learn Blender for everybody, including myself. Alright, now let me go ahead and Shift D. I'm going to rotate this guy on the Z-axis, or is it 180 degrees. G for to grab, X axis to constrain it there. I'm gonna start naming my bones. To name a bone, you simply right click on the bone itself to select it. You go to this little bone icon and you click there, and you can name this one, I don't know, head. This one here would be the body. This one here would be arm underscore capital L for left, arm underscore capital R for right. And one thing I want to do here is select this baby here, do Control P, or sorry, Alt P, disconnect bone, select the other one, Alt P, disconnect bone, and I'm going to grab this guy, G for grab, X to constrain the X axis, bring him right about there, G for grab, X to constrain the X axis, whoa, G for grab, X to constrain the X axis, bring them right about there. Now what I want to do here is I want to rotate this guy on the Y axis 90 degrees. And the road, I need to go ahead and set it to 0. And I'm going to grab the other guy, I'm going to rotate him on the Y axis 90 degrees. Whoa. Sorry guys. Left click the bone, rotate on the Y axis, and then you need to type minus or negative 90 degrees. There you go. That looks more like it. And we can go ahead and set that to 0. One thing we need to do now is grab X axis. Whoop, no. Not X axis, Z axis. Bring them right about there. Grab G for grab, X axis. Bring them right about there. Left click, G for grab, constrain the X axis. Bring them right about there. We're gonna grab both of these, grab Z axis, and grab Z axis. There you go. Now we want to do this one more time. Let's see, we have that one named, that one named, that one named. Okay, we're gonna left click this part of our bone right in between these two bones, and we're going to hit extrude on the X axis one more time. We are going to actually, I did this wrong. I named this one arm and they're the legs, and I put them on the legs, but that's okay. It's not gonna matter because we haven't added the what are they called, constraints. There you go. So for now that's okay. We can go ahead and do Shift D to duplicate, R to rotate on the, don't constrain on any axis, and just type 180 degrees, enter, grab X to constrain on the X axis, and there you go. I'm gonna select one, Alt P, disconnect bone, select the other one, Alt P, disconnect, whoop, Alt P, disconnect bone. I'm gonna grab this guy, I'm gonna put him right about there. I am going to rotate, constrain on the Y axis 90 degrees. Whoa, I did the same mistake I did before. I'm gonna rotate, R to rotate, Y to constrain on the Y axis, and I'm gonna go negative 90 degrees. I need to change that road to 0, and I'm gonna do the same to this bone right here. Okay, R to rotate, Y to constrain the Y axis. Whoop, our cursor needs to be on the stage. So R to rotate, Y to constrain on the Y axis, and here's just 90 degrees, no minus. The roll needs to be 0. Whoa, up in there, 0. There you go. And we're gonna grab our bone, put him somewhere around right there. Grab the other bone, put him somewhere around there. And let's go ahead and G for grab, Z to constrain on the Z axis, but we're just selecting, we're not selecting the whole bone, otherwise we're moving the whole bone. Just want to fine tune that length, and I want to grab the last one there by hitting left click, G for grab, Z to constrain on the Z axis, and there you go. Alright, we are almost done there. Remember, we named this one arm, and it's actually a leg. So we'll do the same to that one. Leg. And this one here is going to be arm underscore capital L, arm underscore capital R. Okay, now if I rotate this, nothing happens yet, because we have to go ahead and go into object mode, deselect everything by hitting A. We're gonna left click or left select our arm, shift select your bone, and we're gonna do control or alt C. Oh, sorry, was that control P? Yeah, control P, set parent to bone. And now when I go to pose mode, whoop, I gotta select my armature first by right clicking it, and then I can go to pose mode. I select this and whoa, what happened there? Alt P, bone. There you go. It didn't do it the first time. I guess we have to do it in pose mode. So here, go to object mode, deselect everything by pressing A, right click our armature, and then go to pose mode. And now let's do our leg. Let's go ahead and select our mesh first, or our object, the leg. Right click it, shift click the leg, and then do control P, set parent bone. And now when we rotate this guy, the leg rotates too. We have to do that to every one. Remember, select the object first and then the bone, control P, bone, just like that. I'll do the same to all of them, and control P. Sorry for the background noises, guys. Control P, do that to the body too, control P. And now we should be able to rotate this guy. Alright, the Z-axis. Alright, that it's looking beautiful. Now there's one problem here. If I rotate, it rotates nice, and he says goodbye, but the video's not done yet, Android, so just be patient. What we have to do here, we have to add a pivot point to right about there. So for that, we're gonna go to that little chain with the bone, which is a constraint, and we're going to add in, what is it, inverse kinetics. Leave the name to IK. I think you can change that. Yeah, you can change the name to whatever, just put IK. And now there's a problem here. If I rotate this guy, now it rotates, and if I grab him, it doesn't go out of this range anymore. But if you notice, the whole body, it's doing some crazy stuff. So in order to change that, come over here where it says chain length and put it to 1, and then when we grab this guy, he will just wave. Even if we rotate, it'll do that. Now we can go to top view, and we can rotate this. Rotate this guy. I guess it'll be rotating on the x-axis, or maybe not. Rotate on the y-axis. Rotate on the y. Well, you get the point. The important part here is that, and I'll go ahead and do it again. I'll have to do it 3 more times. So I am going to see if deselect everything, right click, select your bone, and G for grab. It moves him. But if I do it to the other one, it does the thing that we didn't want it to do. So remember, to do that, right click the bone, go to the bone constraints, add a constraint, inverse kinetics, chain length to 1, and do the same to the legs. Inverse kinetics, chain length to 1, do the same to the other one. Whoop. Inverse kinetics, chain length to 1. And now, ladies and gents, we have ourselves a pretty nice little rig. As promised, this tutorial, it's not done yet. I will then show you guys how to take this into Blender's game engine or Blender game, so that we can make a pretty simple game. And this is just a project that I'm doing right now for learning purposes. My intention here is not to imitate anyone. I saw this tutorial in another website, and I liked it and I follow it. I'm not trying to copy anyone. I'm just trying to learn stuff, and what better way to record it and then share it with you guys. If I did something wrong here, or any tips that you can go ahead and give me, I am open to tips. Please go ahead and visit my blog. The blog is learnblender.blogspot.com. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time.